Feel free to. So, good afternoon, everyone. You are here for a Google Drawing session. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go live. I'm also going to turn off everybody else, including my boss, who's decided that this is the time to start talking to me. Of course it is. So I'm going to just literally close everybody out in WebEx Teams so I can't hear them. All right, there we go. All right, so Google Drawings. For those of you that don't know me, and hi everybody, it's so nice to see people over there. I'm Bond, Virginia Bond, Bond like James and Virginia like the state. And I work for NARIC as an ISS Integration of Technology Training Specialist. So I work on the tech side of the house. I was hired back in 2015 before there was any of us. There was none before me. I was the first. And now we have about 8 of us all together, the training specialists. My job really is to focus on using tech tools and to make them easy for people to use. That's kind of my focus. I was a teacher in a school district, excuse me, up here in the North Country. I am in my Plattsburgh office right now for 27 and a half years before I came to work for NARIC 5 years ago. So I've been in the job a long time. I had taught for 2 years before that as well. So I'm an old timer, like I'm an old lady. So today I got really stressed out, and I'm also a Google trainer, but I'll explain. I got really stressed out because I was trying to do something and they moved it. And I keep up on that stuff. I'm like, and I literally sent a link to my team and I'm like, where did it go? It's gone. And they're like, oh, they just moved it. I'm like, of course they did. I don't have time for that. So I get when things move around, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to have a sip and we're going to go off. Okay, learning goals for today. Be comfortable in the toolbars within drawing. That's kind of the big part of this today. Understand how to save in other formats. So we're going to be able to draw, and then how to save in things like a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG. If you do anything with editing, that's going to be super valuable to you. How to edit any kind of image, how to add a sketch, which is always fun. Have a list of some drawings. And then if we get to this, how to collaborate, that's not as huge a deal. It's nice, but we don't always have to do that. So before we start, I know a lot of you are CRB people, but I need to say this anyway. So I'm going to show you a tool today that maybe you'll be able to use and maybe you won't. It's always nice to see it. It's a tool that's pretty easy to use. Hi, Chris. So when I say it's easy to use, it is an extension, and I'm going to show it to you right here. It's called Tab Resize. I don't have many tools that I can live without. Okay, I can live without almost everything. When I'm remote teaching, this is what I want at my fingertips. So if you want to be able to use this, you need to talk to your DPO, although they can have a nice conversation with me. I've talked it into a lot of districts. It's not for kids. It's an extension for teachers to make their life easier. And what it does, it allows me to split my screen with one click. So I can come up here and click. But what I like about it, it's more than just one split. So typically you can do this, by the way. You can pull one over here and you can pull one over here. And if you're on a Windows machine, it's actually pretty easy because there's like a key command. I have no idea what it is because I just use the extension. I'm literally pretty lazy. I'm very efficient, not lazy. But I can just do that and it magically makes it happen. What's nice, like on a Chromebook, if you're presenting on a Chromebook, it lets you do this. And I could actually have you guys like over here. See, I kind of like, I could populate you into like a set of tabs to have you in one set instead of off somewhere else. It's really nice for people that use Zoom and Meet because you can have your presentation on one side and your kids on the other. So that's really nice. I'm going to put it back together. That's the first thing. What I also like about it a lot is that not only can I do that like 2-screen split, I can actually, hi Diane, Diane's just popping in. I think Diane might have just finished teaching. Hi, Diane. We're just starting. Not a big deal. Glad you could be here. I put the link to today's presentation right in the chat. And what I really like about it is that I have the ability to make multiple splits. So like this one is a 4x4. So I can actually have 4 at a time. So if you're on a Chromebook, that's rough because it's really tiny. I actually have a huge screen, but if I did breakout rooms with my kids, I could see what they were doing all at one time. So for me, that's kind of an extension I can't live without. It's one of my go-tos. So you can split by clicking, choosing the one you want, and then when you want to put them back together, you need to use this key command as Control-Shift-Z. So if you do decide to like grab it, there's lots of keyboard shortcuts with it. It does a lot of things. I use it pretty easily. You know, again, I don't have a huge need to push out a lot of different things, but I like things to be able to be easy. I can push out, I can break them apart and push them back together. That's simple for me. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So now we can go to drawings, and I'm going to close everything to the right so I can move on. So what is Google Drawings? Google Drawings is really a tool for like creating any kind of diagrams, flowcharts, headers, anything that you want to make, right? I see a lot of newsletters made in Google Drawings. Something that has come out of pandemic teaching or remote teaching is that I see a lot more people using Google Slides and Google Docs to build things. So Google Docs, if I open up a new doc up here, has some limitations when I get into it, right? So you notice I just used like a little key command, like a shortcut. So docs.new will take me into a new document without out into the waffle to get to it. That's a huge thing. So does slides.new, takes me to a new slide presentation. So when I'm in here, I do get kind of locked into certain things, right? You can move stuff around, but when I go to insert images like this, so let's just say I'm going to insert an image. This is all going to make sense in a few minutes. I really promise. I'm going to upload something, you know, anything. So here's my granddaughter. We're going to put her in here, right? This is the cutest little baby. So when I put her in, and maybe I want to, you know, I want to write next to it. Her name's Amelia, right? So I want to write next to her name. We kind of get limited by what it allows us to do, right? Text flipping is kind of allows us to only do a few things. So if I wanted to write on it, I would typically take that into, I take that into slides and then I could write on it. But I might want to do even more than that, right? I might want to put stickers on things. So I think people have kind of learned how to work these two things back and forth. You know, Docs is for like text and slides is for visuals, anything to do with presentations. But what Google Drawing is going to allow us to do is going to allow us to make what we want and put it where we want it. Okay, so that's how I kind of I like to talk about it that way. It makes more sense when I kind of explain the difference between the two. So you can take anything and you can change it. I think a huge benefit that I've seen people do in the last few months is become very, very capable in slides. Something that many people weren't before. So that makes me super happy as a trainer, right? People are starting to understand how to use backgrounds and push in images and all those kind of things. But this kind of will give us the ability to amp it up. All right, so let's look at some examples of some drawings. So in this presentation, you will have the ability to click on these, and then I'm going to show you how to force a copy afterwards, okay? So I'm going to click on this one first. So this is set to force copy. When I force copy, it means you have to make a copy and you'll have your own. So you won't have to worry about mine. This is a drawing. There's the icon for drawing. And this is what my mother's refrigerator used to look like. It used to be literally was this kind of refrigerator. And so this is just like we're pretty used to, right? Magnets on a refrigerator. Like how cute is this, right? A little activity. So you can have all these words that kids can kind of work around. You notice that I can pull them, but I'm not resizing the images, right? So that's an issue in Google Drive. I think not Google Drive, excuse me, Google Slides. Kids will move things around. So if I build it in Google Drawings, that's not going to happen. So I have the ability to kind of lock it down so that they can do it this way. So kids can do poetry this way. So if I stop and just think right now, and I know I've got like some math teachers, you could have an equation up and you could move the pieces around and students could move the numbers into the right places. Or you could have them label things. You could have a diagram of a heart. So you're a science teacher and you want your kids to label it. You could have the picture in the background and the pieces on the side and they can label it. You can push it through a Google Classroom to make a copy so they all get their own and they can practice with it. That's always beneficial. So all of those kind of pieces will play together as we're in here. So that's one example. So that I call that refrigerator or magnet refrigerator. So you can also do a social emotional check. So we have lots of people doing these. This is an example of one that I can, and I worked on this a little bit before. You can see I have a box, pretty simple. I have 3 levels, all is good, a bit stressed out. Stress, what stress? Get away from me. Stop touching me. I keep thinking of that commercial. Stop touching me, right? So you could have your kids come in, you could build these and you could have them come in and they could move their little thing right to their spot. Pretty simple, right? An easy way to do this. Something you could reuse every day. Always beneficial. I like to have tools that we can use over and over again. And the way this works is, I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm also going to show you the pieces to it. This is 2 different pieces. It's a text box and a shape. And then all you do is you group them together. So when I right click on them, well, these were grouped and for some reason they got really kind of excited. So you can regroup them and then they move as one. They move as one and so this one does not resize as one because it hates me today. Well, it won't be the first time, right? So they move as one, which is really beneficial with kids so that things can move around. Again, this will be so you can make a copy of it. Next one, just a plain old graphic organizer. So this is one that I made. It's not exciting. Trust me, nothing I'm making is exciting today. But a plain old graphic organizer. So at the beginning, I really was thinking beginning, middle, end for my students in a story so they could put their pieces in here and then they would have the ability to come in and they could type right in it. Pretty easy. This one was made in drawings and brought into docs. So that's the next one. Then we have a Google quiz. What about just a quiz for your kids? I think this is something that's been missing from our kids, the ability to kind of move pieces around. So I didn't check this one to make sure it was working. I had an issue moving some things around today. And it was move the items on the right-hand side up or down so they are in order with the tool that describes their use. This is very reminiscent of the Google Level 1 test. You have to do this on the Level 1 test, which is why I made one of these. So people just literally have to click and drag these around. Come on, there's my friend, right? Get the 4-handed arrow, and then they can move and click and drag it around so they can move text or move a box around. Again, pretty simple. And then the last one I did, this one's a little harder, and I looked at this one and I was like, wow, I would never do this again like this. But I was like, okay, to the person who made this. I will be very honest, I don't know the answers to this. So somebody else made this and let me have it. And this is for those science people in the room. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know these answers. But you can see it's a text box. And you just click and drag the pieces over it. I like the concept behind it, right? It's really good. I like the idea, but I'm like, I don't know the answers. So I love how the simplicity of it and for kids to be able to practice things, especially vocabulary. So all kinds of options for vocabulary and those kind of things. So I'm going to close all of those. I'm just going to close to the right. I'm going to try to close to the right. It's going to let me close to the right. There we go. I was like, wow. All right. So what we really want to do is we want to make a new drawing. So I'm going to open a new tab, and this is why I'm going to use a tab resize. I'm going to go to tab resize, and I'm going to do, well, hold on. I'm going to open a new tab first, right there. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to use tab resize. So we'll have tabs going at the same time. This one won't be as important as this one will. And over here, I'm going to go into drawings.google.com. Now, you can always go to the waffle to get to your pieces. Lots of you like to go up into the 9 square, right? And go to your waffle and get your pieces. I never do that, ever, ever. I always type in the name of it, .google.com, and it will take me where I want to go because it's like 3 clicks shorter. It's a shortcut for me. So now I have a blank slate. You can see that it's just really ugly, right? Nothing here. Can you see it's like checkerboard? It's really hard to see, right? I can't even, I'll make it a little larger. It's pretty late. If you do it, you'll notice it's checkerboard. That means that my background is transparent. That means right now, anything I put on here is going to feed into something else without like a white background, a blue background, a green background. Does that make sense? So it's going to have no background to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to title it. I'm going to give it a name. And I'm going to call it 94 Drawing Test. Oh, trust me. I am not doing anything special. I have just a mouse, okay? I was going to pop out my Chromebook, but totally forgot to do it. My Chromebook actually has a stylus on it. So I can do really nice things on my Chromebook. Like I can actually make things look good. The stuff that I'm going to draw for you today, you ain't getting that. I'm just telling you. So you're getting mouse drawings, all right? But it's a reality. And I'll actually do some also on my touchpad as well. So you can see what that looks like. So I have the first thing done. So let's just look at the toolbar. So if we look through it, doesn't look much different than anything else what we did. And on slide 8, you'll notice that I gave you the names of the things in the toolbar and what's actually in it. Because that's the hardest part within Google Drawings. And remember, if you take trainings with me, when I'm done, when the video comes back, you're going to get the video. Now I'm nervous. I did push record. You're going to get the video back. You're going to get this presentation as well. Okay, so you'll get both of these pieces when I get the video back. What I did is I went through them and I wrote down like the highlights that were in here. So there's way more than share, download, publish page. Okay, there's lots more. But those are the big ones that you need in here. File. What are those changes I want to make to something? So like sharing is in there. It's almost always in there. Download is in there. We're going to use that one in a few minutes because I can download anything into a different file. I have never used well, that's a lie. I've used an SVG style graphic one time in my entire life. Since 2002, I've kind of been in this business. So almost 20 years. And I needed it for a logo company. They wanted a logo and an it's a very high resolution. So most of you will never, ever use it. So if you don't know what it is, it's okay because I don't remember what it is either. Okay, so those are the options. We may use this. We will come back to it. Really cool. See this one here? You can make anything a PDF in here. That's kind of cool to know that you can draw anything and make it a PDF. Same thing for your kids. So your kids can do that too. They can make anything and draw a PDF in here. All right, the next one is the edit. So this has the basics like edit, undo, redo, paste, copy, paste, format, all the stuff we typically see. Viewing. I have the ability to zoom in, like get really big so I can make it really super big if I want to be very detailed with what I'm doing, or I can zoom out if I want to see the bigger picture. I can insert. This is very much like all the other inserts we have in all the other Google tools. You know, images, text box, shapes, tables, charts, diagrams. Woo! Anybody see that one? Word art. Everything everybody's been missing from Google Docs I just saw a couple smiles. That's where the elementary teachers were like, oh, sweet Jesus, I see some light there. Word art, right? Yes, word art does exist, right? You just have to find it. And lines. And then there's some other pieces in here too. Formatting, just like before. All the other formatting. Now, these are all gray right now because I have nothing to format. They will light up when I have something to format. So text is in here. Shape changers, connectors. So those little line connectors. All those things that you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to do, you can do in Google Drawings. So I really want to make a flow chart. You can do it in here. I mean, you can totally do it within slides, but a lot of people get overwhelmed with this. If you're comfortable with the draw tools and slides, this is going to be easy for you. Rearrange, so arranging. So when I get more than a couple things, I can pop them together. I can group them together. I can change the order of them. So I can push things to the back and pull things to the front. So like on that box with the names, I can make the box stay in the back and the name stay in the front, and then I can group them and they'll move together as one, and the box will always stay in the back. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. You have some tools, some real specific tools like spellings in here. That's almost everywhere. Research tools, you won't use these a lot within drawings. And then the last one, oh, look at that table. There is no table. I think when you insert a table, if I'm correct. Nope. That is gone. Out we go. So that's what happens. Yeah, see, I didn't check all the way through. Insert is now in table because what they did is they aligned it more to the rest of the Google tools. So it used to be a special part of the menu bar. They took that out. Thank God. All right. So here's all the pieces. And then the toolbar is a little different. So the first thing I'm going to do, see what you have selected on your canvas determines what you have available on your toolbar. Okay, so you're all like, what? Trust me. So I'm going to insert an image. See what my toolbar looks like right now? I'm going to come back to this. See, I don't have much here, right? Because I have nothing here. So I'm going to insert an image. I'm going to upload. We're going to put Amelia back on the screen. We use a different one now. There she is. Little cheese pot, right? See how I got new tools? I got new ones popped up. Okay, so I'm going to take that off so you can watch one more time. They're not there. I'll pull it back. I got new ones, right? Now I have images. I can do different things with my images. Okay, so that's the first one. First thing first, pretty simple. All right, let's put some text in. And I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to insert some word art. And I'm going to say Amelia. Now this looks really different, right, than any word art we've ever done. And I know the box is this freaking big. I am really sorry. So this is what it says in there. Use enter to save. Use shift enter for multiple lines. So it gives you the direction, shift enter. Okay, Amelia Cheesy, right? And I'm going to just say now I have to hit enter. And you see now I have 2 lines of that, and I can change this. So you notice that I lost some of my tools up here. So watch, this is text, I have text tools. This is picture, I have picture tools. So then it starts to make sense. Now I'm going to show you the difference. If I come out here, we're all used to this. When I come out in slides and I'm on the home bar, I have those tools all the time, right? They're all right here. But what they do in drawings instead is they only show you the tools that you need for that option. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I'm trying to like debunk this whole thing. All right, so we have Cheesy Amelia or Amelia Cheesy. She's all good. So that's the basics, right? So let's play just a little bit. I'm not even going to go through here. So you'll see I actually give you everything that you can use. I took every tool and I went through its actual option. So this one right here is the selector tool, probably the one that's the most underutilized. How many of you have ever worked with like Smart Notebook software or Promethean software or Snowflake? So if you use a ClearTouch or a Promethean board or a Smart board to move things, you always have to click on that selector arrow, right? So we're going to keep that in mind. If you want to move something, you got to click that, and then I get my 4 arrows. So that's the trick right there for kids. Those 4 arrows is how you want them to move things. Because I'm going to teach you a little trick. If I come back into my Google slide presentation, this right here is a graphic. So what happens with kids? They come in and they grab it by the corner, right? And they go like this and they move it, and you're like, no, right? Because they just move it the wrong way. But what you can teach them to do is if you teach them to always grab things with the 4 arrows, they won't ever change the size of it. See that? Doesn't change the size of it. So when we teach them like that, when they want to move images around, no matter what they are or what program they're in, if they look for the 4-sided arrow, it won't change the size of it. It will just move it. Same thing here, okay? If I click it from here, what's going to happen? I'm going to resize it, right? So what I want to do is I always want to grab it when I have my double arrows going on. Yep, do it the right way. And now I can move it all around. Okay. So see what just happened there? Well, I put the picture in first. That's always going to be the base. And then I put this in next. That's always going to be the next part. So the way Google Drawings works is the concept of layering. So I wore this outfit today. I'm going to stand up just so you can see it. Very particular, right? I have a tan shirt on, a sweater, and a scarf. So they go on in one way. I can't put the scarf on and then put the sweater on, or put the sweater on and then put the cardigan on. I have to put the sweater, the cardigan, the scarf on. I know this is so weird. I use such weird analogies, but they work for me, right? So Google Drawings is the same exact way. It works the same exact way. First thing on, that's going to be your base. My sweater's my base. The next one is like the Amelia Cheesy, okay? That, because it's a second piece I put on, it goes on as a second layer. Then I can create another layer. That's what Google Drawings is. It's cheap man's Photoshop, okay? So when I say it's cheap man's, I mean wicked cheap because it's free. And if you ever have to buy a pure licensing of Photoshop, you understand what I mean. Because it's, okay, and April is shaking her head. It's wicked expensive. But if you can teach the concept of layering to kids and how it works, then it really makes a lot of sense. It's pretty easy to use. So you understand that it's easy for them. So if I wanted a background here, okay, so I've got this picture in, little cheesy Amelia, right? I'm gonna move her off. What I really like is that I can move stuff off my canvas. It's just like having a whiteboard. I'm gonna build on it, and now everything's off my canvas. So what if I want to put something in the back? Can I put color in here? Can I insert a background? I don't see a background anywhere. So there's a trick. I can grab a box. I can make a shape. I can draw it across the entire thing. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can today, and maybe today I can't because it's been that kind of day. We'll try again. There we go. I can put a shape in like that. I have a box. It came in with a color. I can change the color. Let's make it black. So that's really going to pop with her little red dress. Oh no, what happened? They're like, what? What happened? She's all gone, right? So now you can see what happens with layers, right? So the layer is gone. She's disappeared. So can I get her back? Where is she? She's here. I can see that she's here. I just can't see her. This is called order. So I right click and I change the order and I send to the back because, well, let me get her back here. I did just lose her. Okay, I'm going to pull her back out here. I want to bring her to the front. Ooh, and every time I do that, okay, I can't do that. I'm going to send the black to the back. Won't let me do it. I'm going to send that backward. Now it's on the back, and now I should be able to move her to the front. Wow, that is not letting me do that. Sometimes it happens. I do it here. I'll only put her halfway through. Ah, that did it. So you see how I kind of hacked my way through that? Because sometimes it will be a little wonky. So let me show you what I did. I pulled it this far and I saw where I wanted it to be. I only pulled it partially and I can order it right there. And when I order it like that, I can bring to the front. Does that make sense? So ordering is kind of like the piece de resistance. When you kind of understand that, it makes it a lot easier for those pieces to understand how they work. Okay, I'm going to go back to my presentation because I'm totally not paying any attention to what I did or what I wrote or what I typed. All right. Let's see. What other things are in here? The other big ones in here. Lines, curvy lines. There are curvy lines. I don't want my curvy lines right now to be black, otherwise we won't see them. I can make curve. Oh, no, that's a straight line. See, that's a curvy line. You got to double click them to make them stop. You can also get a scribble line, which allows me to just literally scribble. And I can change all the sizes of those. Nice, big, fat. Really lines you can't see because they're the wrong color. See how you can do that pretty easily? So these tools are just like the ones that exist in slides that most of you probably never used, right? You're like, yeah, I see them up there. I don't know what to do with them. I know they're there. What am I supposed to do with them? So that's the one thing. And you can always edit them, which is what I really like. It's pretty easy to edit them backwards. Lines, shapes. Okay, so let's go here. And we are going to teach you how to change the shape of anything. We'll insert a shape first. Here's a shape. Gonna grab one. I can come in. I can grab a little heart. I'm gonna put it right there, right? So I can put a heart on. Hearts are cute. They're so cute. See how every time I try to do, oh no, Emily. Not a problem, Emily. Of course they're going to do an update right now. It's always like that. Not a problem. So you can go in and you can go through, you can layer these things up and add the pieces. Okay, so I'm still going, hold on. And then when I go to the next one, we're going to come back to those other pieces. We've put text in, we've put an image in, we're all good. So when I come in, what I can actually do is I can actually change the size of things. So maybe this is not the size I want. I can come in and I can go to page set up. So we're going to actually do one of these right now. So I'm going to close this one. I saved my test. I'm going to make a new one because I'm going to give you like a real life example. I'm going to have a drawing in here. How many of you have ever gone in and you need to put an avatar into something? It's only be 200 by 200 pixels. And you go, what the hell? I don't even know what that means, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do it. File, page setup. And you come here and you're like, okay, that's not it. Custom. So I can do lots of custom things. I can do inches. Oh, what's a good one? Like 5 by 7? I could make postcards. 4 by 6? That's kind of cool. I could also make postcards. 8.5 by 11? I could have a full piece of paper. But we're going to do pixels. So you have inches, centimeter, points. You'll probably never use that. Pixels. And I'm going to go 200 by 200 and push apply. And there's my box for pixels, 200 by 200. So now if you have to have something that has to be that size, what's nice about this is you can tell your kids, I want everybody to make something that's only 200 by 200 pixels, right? And then they have this box within which to play with. So I can also take my view and I can take my zoom down to 50%, right? That's what it looks like at 50%. This is what it looks like at 100. When I have it in here and I have it to fit, it's at 382%. Because 200 pixels is literally an avatar box, right? That big. So let's play with this just a little. What can I do in these kind of things? I can insert a color in the background, right? I could just fill it with a color like we did before. I could do all that. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I just want to bring it a Bitmoji, right? So let's grab, I'm going to do the bad thing. I'm going to show a Bitmoji. I'm going to grab this in here and I'm just going to drop it in. In we go. Here is my bit. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect size. Okay. Bond in Apple. Now I'm going to view it at 100%. And now I have a Bitmoji ready to go. That's a pixel size one that I can use and I can put in anything really easily. And I'm going to save it in just a minute. That was easy, right? Simple, simple, simple. Okay, now let's do a little bit with dropping things in. I actually walked you through this. This is an email. This is a video on how to set up a badge. So if you wanted to make badges for your kids, and that's a good way to do things like, great work on this, a good way to kind of reward them. You can kind of use something different than just typing out stuff. You could preload them and make a few ahead and then just insert them on their documents, right? Oh, I'm trying to think ahead of ways so you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. All right, so you can also do backgrounds. Oh, see, I knew there was a way to put a background in and I couldn't remember. Right click, right? What does it say? Right click on the blank and choose background from the pop-up menu. And I do not have backgrounds anymore. Wonder why. Let's go to view. Doesn't mean it's not there, just means I can't see it. Could be because I'm too old. Insert, right? Backgrounds are gone. No, not that one. There's always a way to put it back. Okay. Unselect, that's why. Look at background, color, cheese and crow. Want to watch me do that again? Peggy, Patty, I knew that face. She's like, huh? That's why I like to see faces. All right. Right click, background, colors. See all those colors? Let's make it black. That's way easier than the other way I was doing it, right? Background. Okay, so let's undo it one more time. We'll do it again. You also have background gradient options. Those are kind of nice over there. Let's do blue. There's my gradient option. Okay, now I'm going to move that graphic up in there. It's all done. How cute is that, right? My own little one. All right, I can add text to that. I can write way to go. I can put in anything I want in there. Yada, yada, yada. You make those decisions, whatever you need to be. Okay, simple. So I'm not going to go through all the drawing tools. I'm hoping we're good with those. Other important tools, I have them all in here, right? So we also can do things like drawing houses. This is the way I teach it to kids, okay? Because it's great for you to know how to do it, but think about some of the things that your kids could do with this. It's almost Christmas. They could literally make a picture for their kids with a little house or their family, or they could pull pictures in together. They can create a nice collage. So I always start with teachers and I say, I want you to build a house with 3 different shapes, okay? So we're gonna do a new one. Watch, we're gonna do a new drawing. I'm gonna leave it just the way it is. We're gonna view it. I wanna look at this and see what it does. No, it stays at that, okay. So I always say build a house, shape. Here's a shape, a square. There's my square house, my base. I'm going to give myself a roof. Simple. If I can grab the roof because my brain's not working today, can grab the roof. That is an ugly roof bond. So I'm going to pull it a little short and squatty more than I want anything else, like this. And then I'm going to pull it like this. I'm going to make it, I was going to say I was going to make a 7-eaved one, but I don't think so. I'm going to make it a 2-eaved. That is an ugly looking house castle, but it works today. So I used a key command, Control C, Control V. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. My left hand always sit on the keyboard. Pinky's always on control, pointer's always on control. So Z, C, and V are all always at my fingertips. What's control Z? Do you guys know what that is? Diane, I love your face. She's like, no. Oh my God, I made a mistake, right? It's the undo button, right? Perfect, right? Like it's the oh poop button, for lack of better words. I made a boo-boo and I got to get it back, right? It's also, when I'm in a drawing thing, I may want to undo what I just did and then put it back. I don't know what the redo, it might be, let me see, undo. No, that was not it. I was hoping that shift was the one I wanted and it was not. And I just made a bad error. I wanted it to be shift and yeah, I can't get that back the way I want it. That's really weird. What is the oh poop button? You're so funny. Control Z. Control Z. I like that. Yes. Z. As in zippity doo dah. Zippity yay. My oh my, I screwed up today. Okay. You won't forget that now, right? All right. So that's the way, yeah, it's a good one to just have kind of at your fingertips. That works everywhere, right? What if I want to move everything? This is another nice trick. Click on the board once and select Control A. Control A selects all. So now I can move that up into control. What did you say? Oh, who said that? Well, I saw it go really fast. Control Shift Z is redo. Yeah, I tried that. I think because I'm using the app, the extension in there won't let me do it. I thought so. That makes sense. So Control Z is undo and Control Shift Z is redo. Thank you, April. That's awesome. So, yep, zippity doo dah. So when I Control A, I can move them all at one time. I really like that. That's a nice feature. So you can have your kids do this. And I am a huge proponent for having kids learn how to use something like this, because the lessons you teach them in this are really applicable into slides and docs. It's not time wasted to have them draw in something like this. It's a real life skill. Okay, so there's my house. Isn't it beautiful? No, it's really not, but it's all good. Why can I not get this back? Okay, we're going to see if I can get my presentation back on one screen and not on two. Huh, all right, well, you know, whatever. We'll try that. Oh, that did it. Sometimes you just gotta be brighter than the computer. Not always. It doesn't always happen. There we go. All right, so there we go. Nice now. I'm trying to do too many things at one time, and it does not like me enough. All right, so what else should we be thinking about? So let's think about downloading things. So I have my pretty little house, right? I can add trees in here. So let's do something really quick. Let's insert a tree. So can I insert from the internet? Oh, yeah, I can. So I clicked insert, search the web. It opens up the sidebar. Now here's a trick. Tree transparent. I want a transparent tree in the background, right? Perfect. I'm gonna pull that little tree in there. It's not so little. And there it is, but I can resize it to anything I want it to be. We're gonna make it a skinny tree. Ooh, it's a skinny, ugly tree now, but it'll work for now, right? And I'm gonna have to move my house out of the way because it's got a tree growing on it. That's okay, really kind of good, that's fine. So it's easy to pull an image in, pretty simple. Let's say I like this little one right here. I'm gonna put that in. That's gonna populate itself in. I'm gonna put that one in. Maybe I'm gonna just plant that one right here. Perfect. All right, it should go a little lower because it'll go right there. Perfect. Yay! Perfect. Easy, easy, easy. All right, let's say this is perfect, just the way I want it. Yeah, it's totally not. I gotta change a few colors. See how I'm changing colors really easily? Clicking on the shape and just coming up and grabbing a color. Easy enough. I haven't lost anybody yet, right? This is all still easy, right? It's amazing how easy this is. It's not hard at all. All right, I'm all done. What if I want to save it? Okay, because this is gorgeous, and gosh knows I need to save it. Said no one ever. All right, let's download it. Let's download it as a JPEG. So if I download it on my device, I always download into my desktop folder. Okay, I always download to my desktop. This is a habit of mine, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's a really good habit. I don't do it because it makes sense. I also don't have a desktop that looks like, every file in the world blew up on it. So that does make it a little easier. I'm going to save it as a house JPEG, and I'm just going to save it. It's one of the options over here. Difference between a JPEG and a PNG file. Most of you, a PNG file is a little higher quality. You won't usually need it. A JPEG is what you need. There are times, though, that you can only get you need a PNG file. Just know when that is, okay? This is how to get it. Okay, so now I have one. I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to make this go full screen. And let's add it. Insert an image. I'm going to upload from my computer because I loaded it to my desktop. I know where it is. It's right there. And voila! It's beautiful, right? Said no one ever. But let's pretend that this is a document that I wanted in. I can do the same exact thing. I can insert this image, I can do it two ways. I can insert an image, upload from my computer. It is again, it's coming, I promise, right there, right? Fantastic, all in one piece, not in little pieces. I also can insert it as just a plain old drawing. So, drawing, I can make them from inside a document or I can just insert it. So it will only look for drawings. I love the fact that it'll only look for drawings. It's not making me pick something. So let's say I want this one and it asks me a question. Do I want to link to the source or do I want to insert it unlinked? So that means if I linked it to the source and I needed to make a change to it, they would update live here. I don't need that. I can just do it, insert it unlinked. So there's my little image, right? So now I have something that I can use here and there. So think about, these are some different things. So a lot of teachers want to do like Bitmojis with their kids, but Bitmojis are not allowed in a lot of districts and they're not available for students under the age of 13. But could you have your kids do their own kind of thing like this? You sure could, right? They could kind of create their own little Bitmojis. Okay, let me get back to my presentation. I don't need this. That can come out. All right, so you can see all your pieces you have in there. There's what you can download as all the way down. Okay, so we put our house drawing into, we saved it as a JPEG. I'm glad I'm like paying attention to myself. We made it a JPEG, we downloaded it, we put it in, we can upload it. Pretty easy. All right, we can edit an image. Open a new image, insert an image, search what we did all this, right? I'm just booking with gas. We can also do things like solve a problem using an image. So I'm going to go out here. I'm going to go back into this one. I'm just going to go down a little further. And I'm going to insert a drawing, but I'm going to do new. And I'm going to see how it opened up a little mini drawing tool. So this is kind of power for kids to teach them fast. So once we teach them how to do drawings, then we can use it from within and students can start to do solutions. So I can come out here and say, grab the scribble tool, and I want you to solve 4 times 3. I only want you to use images. I only want you to use shapes. I want you to show me 2 solutions with 1 picture. And kids are like, what? What? A little bit of problem solving, right? Here. So here's my way to do it. So I'll teach you one way, and I'm going to use a circle. I'm going to use a circle right there. There's my circle. I hate the color blue, so we're going to do red, like jingle balls. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I did too many. 3, 4. I'm going to take that one out. Now, I could make 8 more of those, couldn't I? Right? Or I could do this. I could select them like that, copy, and then paste, And I very quickly have, whoop, that one came on its own. It was not supposed to do that. That was an instance of, whoops, boo-boo. Yep, I'm going to do that backwards. We're going to copy it and paste it and move it. It decided it had a mind of its own. I'm going to copy that one and paste it and move that one. I'm going to move them independently. So now, unfortunately, my 3 came with me, but that's okay. So here's a solution of students showing you an actual math solution without figuring out the math, but understanding math. It's more along the lines of what we want them to do with Common Core. And it's along the lines of conceptualizing math more, because we don't are so hard. And it's hard for our kids to do that right now because they want the answer. And they're home with their parents who just want to say 4 times 3 is 12. And we're like, yes, we know it's 12, but can you show me how it's 12, right? That's hard to understand. So here's my 4 times 3, or my 3 times 4. Ah, trickery, right? With a picture. And I am not a math teacher, just so you all know. So let's look at a couple other ways. So I could take that and then I could insert that image right into my document, right? Which is what I did here. It's not trickery. This is 3 sets of 4 when read horizontally, and it's 4 sets of 3. I think that's wrong. I think 4 sets of 3 when read vertically. What are some other things you can do? So I can make an image into another shape. Let me go back out here into my drawings. I'm going to take Amelia again. She's a really good example of, if you've ever done any cropping or any masking of images, that's all I'm really going to do. I'm going to click on her picture, going to come to the crop tool, and next to the crop tool, there's a little down arrow, and this is called masking. So I'm going to mask this image, and I am going to turn her into a heart. And there she is. That is not magic, my friends. That's just called masking of an image. So I can do all of that within slides, right? But the difference between slides and drawing is that I can do all of these things and then I can work it all over. So let's say I do this and I pull this in, her little name thing in, Cheesy Amelia, right? And I can have a heart in here and I can put a whole bunch of things in here together. And then when I'm all done, I can save it as a JPEG. That's the difference. Like I can do that in slides as well, but this gives me more functionality and I have the ability to move things around more. I can do grid boxes so I can really click things in tight. And I can also go into that view, into that zoom, like into the 200, and I can really do some detailed work in here. Like if I had a stylus, right, I'd be able to do some really fine writing in here. Like I could go down and write some small things in here, you know, like simple, tiny, fine things. You can't really do that in Google Slides as much. So this gives you more functionality. It's definitely more for the artists in us, okay, which is, I am not saying that I am an artist in any way. I mean, I can draw, but it's not great. But I just want you to know those things. So think about math solutions. Think about any kind of image that I can pull in and put words, or where kids, or even kids can pull it in and they can do the labeling on it, right? Allow kids, like once you teach the tool to kids, I think it's very intuitive. And I will be very honest, for students, this is an easy tool. Kids are really good at a couple of things. So I'm kind of like them. I have Instagram, two apps that kids are really good at. What are they? Instagram, right, where you can edit, and Snapchat, all about filters. So what can you do on a Snapchat filter? You can edit it. What can you do on Instagram? You can edit your photos. That's what this is. Oh yeah, sure. Ask right now. Go ahead.
Hey, awesome, thanks. So one thing that I found that I was having an issue with, and I don't know if you have a workaround, is
Always.
if you are, I mean, I came up with a workaround, but maybe a better way. So if you make something and then you group it together and you go and resize it, I found that the text doesn't resize. And I didn't know if, so I guess what I've done thus far is I like get the thing to be the size that I want and then put the text on
Yep,
it.
that is the resize for it. I mean, the resize for it. That is the best solution. Because I agree with you. If I make this smaller, it almost pixelates, or you have to be pretty specific about the font that you choose.
Sorry, what I mean is like if you take like your heart or something and you put some text in it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yep.
And then you group the heart and the text. Although I don't know, actually, I think I only had done it when I made a separate text box. So it may be different. So if I have a heart and then I make a text box and I put it may resize properly this way, but because it isn't necessarily just a heart. It's like maybe I have an image that I've imported and then I put some text as a text box on top of that image, right? You get the order right, you get the layer right, and then I want to set it all to a specific size, right? I want it to be a specific number of inches.
Okay, yep.
And so when you resize the thing, like see how you change the size of the heart, but I don't know that you have those two grouped together.
I don't, nope.
Okay, so but if you try it when you group it together, the text doesn't change. Like you can have multiple images, and when they group together, when you adjust the size, it adjusts the size of the images, but it doesn't seem to adjust the size of the text.
So there's two things here. So one thing is now, and I think it's a newer feature, you never used to be able to automatically write in your shapes. You can automatically write in your shapes now, but you're right, the text size doesn't change.
Yeah, but so say you just put a text box. So if you
if I want to
shape or you have a text box
and put that up there, I'll just change the color of it. So Amelia Cheesy, and I'll put that in.
Perfect.
And I'll just order it to the front, or I'll send the other one to the back. I don't care what. Well, I'll do something that makes it stay together.
And then you group them.
Yep, bring to the front. And I'm going to take these two and I'm going to group. Come on. They are really fussy. I've got too many things going on right here.
Yep.
This one and this one. And I'm going to group them together because this is what I'm doing. I'm locking them together.
And now, so I want you actually not to do it that way.
You want me to go up here and change the size?
Into the format.
Yeah, and page setup?
No, in the, let me see it. Where you go into the image, the format options. Sorry, that button there. Maybe it doesn't work because it's a shape and not an image. So if you're putting text over an image, I just was doing this today, so but maybe I just was doing something wrong. So if you're
I think it can be a little wonky. Let's make this white and try that.
Yeah, if you're putting text over an image, and then maybe if you take the mask off of the picture there, I don't know, but
let's try this.
And then if you group those two things together, and then you know how you can go to like the position, the alignment, that tab.
Yep.
See how the text didn't change there?
Yeah, because I think on an image, it's treated as separate because even when you put it in a box like that, you still have to go in this way and change it.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure is like, because in the other case, like if you put multiple images together and you grouped them, they would adjust the size together.
Yeah, but I don't think text will do that. I think it's that free version component there that as much as we wanted to do that, it's not going to do that exactly. I'd probably, and I'm sure you figured this out, do your images first, get them work the way you want them, then put your text on top of them.
Yeah, exactly. I set the size first and then put the text.
Sorry.
No, okay, thank you very much.
No, it's a great question, right? And sometimes it's when we push them, and I think what we're finding is we're pushing some of these things to its ultimate size, which I kind of like. That doesn't upset me in any way. So you can always resize your canvas by pulling it. You have a corner down at the bottom. I said I was going to let you go early, and I'm totally not. I am the worst human ever, but I'm almost done. You have all your format options. I'm not going into these. These are like the bigger things when you look at, you click on them, you can do drop shadows. This is more in depth. It's easy. If you know how to do it in general, most people will never use all those. Isn't that nice to hear? So we already did this. You can also insert directly into a doc. You watched me do that. We went into drawings new, pretty simple. You can do the same. All of these are just examples. I gave you examples at the end that you should be able to, some of them you can click, some are clickable that you can grab a copy of them. Like here's a sort that you can grab a copy of. Here's a metal sort that you can grab a copy of. You know, you can always take these, make your own ideas from them. There's a concept map, which is great. Even just to have the graphic organizer built for kids, especially if you have a graphic organizer you use over and over and over again. You can, like a Venn diagram, for example, if that's something you always use, you can build your own and put it in. Sometimes it's like this is a Foursquare that one of my local districts uses all the time for paragraph writing for their kids. They couldn't find one. They had hand drawn it, so we made one, and then we did it as an image, and then they can always use it anytime they want with their students. So just think of it that way. Pretty simple. I gave you some more ideas, the fill in the blanks. So these are all just the ideas and ways to go about it. I think I gave you everything you could possibly ever need to know with drawings in here, right? You can't break it. Isn't that nice to know? You can't break it. You can't break Google in general. I'm the only person that's allowed to do that. You can create memes. This is a great kind of fun thing to do with kids. Let them create some memes. Like my favorite one is now like, oh my God, 2020, right? Like anything to do with 2020 is funny. You can do anything with awards or certificates. You can create those. You can create badges. You can create any kind of seating charts. I always like to say this is really good for custodians when they decide to move your room around when they clean it. It's always nice for them to know how things go back together. You can also make doodles of yourself. This is a video that you can watch that shows you how to do it. And I gave you some resources, really simple. We're not going to do this. I knew we'd run out of time. We did get through all our pieces. So, as always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You all have my email. Once I get the content back, I will send it back out to everybody so you all have it. All right? I'm going to stay around if you have any questions. I'm going to stop recording. Sorry I went over. I'm a bad human today. Sorry. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Virginia. It was great.
You're welcome.
Thank
you. Bye, everybody.